All right, folks, welcome to 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗲.tv. I have a hell of a show for you today. Lots of things happening behind the scenes, and Ghost is going to come clean with a lot of it today. Folks, hit the notifications buttons, like, subscribe, follow, do all that good stuff. Help me help you, folks. Also, Venmo, 𝗬𝗏𝗏1977. You have a question you want to ask on there, or a comment, or kick me in the nuts, whatever you want to do. Venmo's the place to do it. And then also, When the Lights Go Out, folks, When the Lights Go Out on Amazon. I got a great show today, so I'm going to speed through this stuff. When the Lights Go Out on Amazon. I wrote that on my iPhone really, really fast. Kind of just, it was therapy for me to write this book. So looks like another one's coming. I'm thinking about writing a second book, but definitely get the first book, When the Lights Go Out. Second, The Mexican Mix. My mama's book, say, The Mexican Mix. Folks, could an event, look, call me crazy, but they're already putting out all the propaganda for an alien ship to arrive between November 21st. Harvard scientists agree, all alike, that an alien ship could arrive somewhere around November 21st and December 5th, around the time that maybe we could see the first arrest or when the investigations really ramp up. Donald Trump is also putting feds on the streets of Washington, D.C. He's now going to war with the cartels, and he's allowing the military to make the next big step against the cartels. Folks, he's going all in to clean up America, and it looks like they're planning something big. You got to also think the targets, and you understand on my show, we talk about this a lot, the potential targets, the banking system, obviously, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Statue of Liberty. I put those on the thumbnail. There's a lot of potential things that can happen here. We're in very dangerous, uncharted waters. And a lot of you think, oh, that's crazy. He's crazy. Nino's crazy. Really, go look at the articles. Go look at the articles about the alien ship, the hostile alien ship. Folks, they're not playing around. They are not playing around. Look what just happens in Palisades, the LA fires, Lahaina. They're not done. They're not done. This is war on so many different levels. They're willing to play any card. This is David versus Goliath, and we're not Goliath. The exact date when the alien ship is expected to arrive on Earth, a frightening warning is given. I'm telling you, folks, this is hitting all syndicates. They're prepping you. They're letting you know, like, oh, it's coming. And there's a lot of videos seeping out right now on the internet of people talking about aliens and showing videos and pictures and, oh, I know the secrets, or I worked in government black ops, and it's all coming out on purpose. But what are they really? In my opinion, I think they're demonic entities, interdimensional demonic entities masquerading as aliens. They're going to fool us. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as aliens, but I'm saying this card they're going to play is going to be that, in my opinion. Folks, Noble Gold, get your Noble Gold. Here's the hard truth. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half its buying power. That $100,000 in savings today could feel like $50,000 by 2031. But there's a way to protect and preserve your money, and that is gold and silver. Noble Gold Investments makes it easy to own gold or silver. No pressure, no call centers, just honest one-on-one support. Open a qualified account today and get it free. 10-ounce silver American flag bar coin, or no, flag bar. It's a bar. I have one. They gave me one. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Noblegoldinvestments.com today. Get started on it. Colin Plume's a friend of mine. Best investment you're going to make, ask Juanito, ask any of these people, is gold. Okay, it's gold. I have a great show today. I have the Ghost coming on in just a second. Hang tight. I know a lot of you have been wanting to hear from the Ghost, so I listened to your requests. I'm bringing them on. EBS, or the Emergency Broadcast System testing going, or FCC. I'm going to get into this in a second. Taking new measures on the emergency broadcast system. But first, folks, get to ringside with Nino on 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗲.tv. I'm going to we war game twice a month. The next one is coming up next Wednesday. and that will be 5 p.m. So twice a month you war game with me, and then once a month is the General's Tent. If you're in the General's Tent, no need to subscribe to Ringside with Nino, but Ringside with Nino, it's kind of like you get all this stuff that I'm getting, and I spill the beans on everything I'm hearing through the back channels and through my guests, and we war game it on Ringside with Nino. So that's definitely worth it. Nino's Corner.tv. I got 𝗬𝗏, the Ghost, Dr. Carol Lieberman coming on, Melissa Red Pill coming on, General Flynn's coming on, and 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗁𝗁 is the next general in the General's Tent, baby. Yeah. And that's August 28th, 5 p.m. 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗁𝗁. Now, he's an OG in this movement, so that's going to be fun to ask him any question you want. So he's coming on the General's Tent. So I said Ringside with Nino and the General's Tent. Those are my two tiers, top tiers. All right, folks, and without further ado, you might want to turn it down or turn it up, baby. Yeah. Coming at you live from the apocalypse, baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get into this. FCC overhauls emergency alerts, plus Trump floods D.C. with feds. What's coming? And the Ghost is going to explain a lot on this today. I believe an event is incoming and preparations are being made to combat the potential fallout. I believe some kind of terrorist attack or black swan event is looming. It's the only card they have left to play. They have many cards to play, but this is the big one. This is the big one. There are many speculations of targets, but I will stick to what I see from my vantage point of the battlefield, and the Ghost will explain more on this. The big, beautiful bill afforded Trump a domestic military that I believe the immigrants are being used as cover or an excuse is going to be part of the reason. But another big part of the reason is when the arrests begin, folks, that's when the party starts, okay? That's when the party starts. America will be most vulnerable at that time. And that is what we must be prepared for anything. We must be prepared for anything, and that's why Trump is setting all his ducks in a row for a moment like this. I think Trump is using problem, reaction, solution in some circumstances as a reason for more troops on the streets. On the streets. Now, remember, the big, beautiful bill awarded him how many more ICE agents? Maybe the Ghost can get into that, but thousands. But let's take a look at Washington, D.C. for just a moment. People were brutally attacked in Washington, D.C. I don't think this is an irregular circumstance, but I think this happens quite often. But it gave Trump the proper excuse and reason to put feds on the street to keep the streets safe. Keep the streets safe. Or is there a bigger reason at play here? That's all I'm saying. Trump is putting more feds on D.C. streets in response to out-of-control youth violence. President Trump is planning to deploy federal law enforcement on the streets of the nation's capital as early as Friday to crack down on violence committed by gangs of roaming youths. The White House confirmed to the Post. Now let's add this post in from Brendan Carr on X. Today, the FCC voted to launch a top-to-bottom review of the Emergency Alert System, EAS, and the Wireless Emergency Alert, WEA program. We want to ensure that these programs deliver the results that Americans want and need. You know, you can call me paranoid all you want, but I see preparation for something that could be big coming our way. And we don't really know what move they're going to make, but I guarantee you they're going to make a move. I'm just paying attention to the signs behind the scenes, and I am very lucky to have people like the Ghost join me today. Don't bring him on yet, Alex. I'm going to bring him on in a second. But here are a few things to consider. Here are just a few things to consider. I believe the 8.8 earthquake in Russia was just a warm-up. Just a warm-up. I believe it was artificial. There was no P wave. Whales are becoming silent off the coast of California. They're not communicating with each other anymore. It's gotten silent. Sharks are washing up in Florida. Some weird stuff going on, folks. What are they doing? What are they testing in those waters? Let's not forget the Manhattan-sized spaceship that has entered our solar system hurling towards Earth. Okay? I'm not making this up. A Manhattan-sized spaceship hurling towards Earth that could be hostile. Folks, you can't write this shit. You cannot write this shit, and it's all coming at the right time. Trump is putting more feds on D.C. streets in response to out-of-control youth violence. So Trump is planning to deploy federal law enforcement on the streets of the nation's capital as early as Friday to crack down on violence committed by gangs of roaming youths, the White House confirmed to the Post. D.C. residents can expect to see an increase in federal enforcement starting as early as today. An administrative official said Thursday, adding the operational details were still being finalized. This move comes after a well-known former Department of Government Efficiency staffer, 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was attacked by teenagers as he interviewed a thwart an attempting a carjacking near DuPont Circle, about a mile north of White House. Quarantine 19 was beaten up and bloodied by about 10 juveniles. 10 juveniles. At approximately 3 a.m. on Sunday, a picture of the injured staffer was posted by Trump and Quarantine's former supervisor, Elon Musk, earlier this week. National Guard vehicles were spotted outside the D.C. Armory Thursday morning in apparent preparation for Trump's announcement. The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are also preparing to deploy personnel. What, for this one kid that got beat up by a few juveniles? Really? You're bringing in all this artillery? Really? Or are you preparing for something bigger? I don't know. I think the police could handle this one circumstance. But no. You're going to bring in the military and deploy vehicles, armored vehicles for this kid? Really? I see something much bigger taking place here, folks. Just saying. And as all this transpires, guess what else we have to worry about? What to know about the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶 virus and a new outbreak in China. The U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention has issued a travel warning following an outbreak of a mosquito-borne illness called the 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶 in China. The CDC's warning centers on Guangdong province, where the outbreak has exceeded 7,000 cases, confirmed cases, since June 2025, according to Chinese health officials. Now, I've been told they're going all in now, folks. They're going all in because why? They know Trump is going all in. So everything, they have to speed up the process. The outbreak in Guangdong province has been linked to a monsoon flooding, which created ideal breeding conditions for mosquitoes. Really? Ideal breeding conditions for mosquitoes? Or is it you know who? Could it be Gates? Just asking the question. So now this is taking over China. It's a national emergency. You can bet those little flying mosquitoes are going to find their way over here somehow, some way, over the ocean. Folks, I know you're all paying attention. I know I sound crazy to some of you, but I've been over the target, I'd say 90% of the time. I may have gotten dates and months wrong, but I'm telling you, they're going all in, and it could be all of it together. George Soros, Beto O'Rourke behind funding for Dems fleeing Texas over GOP congressional map. Infamous Democratic donor George Soros and former Texas Rep Beto O'Rourke are responsible for two major funding groups behind the Texas Democrats fleeing the state to prevent the GOP from voting on a new congressional map. And now what 𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏 has said, let's go after them. Let's go get them. There's an internal civil war happening right now, not just with the three-letter agencies, but it's spilling over everywhere. It's a civil war. It has not gone kinetic on the streets, but it's good very soon. I know we all feel the temperature is hot, hot, hot. All right, Ghost, are you there?
Yes, I am. And could you repeat the name of that virus again?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know, something like that.
You had me laughing so hard. It doesn't do me good right now to laugh. Ouch.
Oh, so sorry.
Good to
But
be here.
you know, you got to make fun of the news because it's so ridiculous and outlandish. You know?
And all this was predicted. How long ago? How long, by myself and others? How long ago? And told.
You've been talking about a mass event coming, but you know, it would make sense they would
But
time
the mosquito thing, the
yeah,
diseases.
right. Let's be
that.
careful of that on fluff. But but here we are, Ghost. Here we are in the mix of it, and the investigations are escalating. We got a grand jury now. DOJ appoints a grand jury. They're in trouble, and it's game over for these people. So now they're gonna have to play whatever card, whatever panic move they can, whatever panic card they can play to get ahead of the ball, steal the narrative, distract, whatever. Correct?
Yeah, because again, those who own the Babylonian money magic system, your monopoly money that everybody buys and sells with, they don't want to give it up. That's what all it comes down to. At the tip of the pyramid, let's say, that's what it comes down to. They don't want to give it up. This has been perfected over hundreds of years, and they know human psychology. And you know, let's talk about the spaceship coming at us. Anyone who's got a basic understanding of astrophysics, a ship like that is not going to be traveling through space. It's either going to be there or it isn't. And that would take weeks of lectures to go through.
So basically it's running on a propulsion system.
Yeah,
which we know they go through inner dimensions. They go through portals in the first place. So this is just a big lie perpetuating to the public. So when it appears over New York City or LA, or they can say, well, we told you it was coming.
Yeah. And the James Webb Telescope sees it and all that. No, it's not designed for that kind of thing, actually. It's looking 17 billion light years out. It's not designed for things like that. Who's saying this and we all know who's doing this. And you mentioned the interagency argument, the interagency arguments and civil wars within. Yeah, how long have we been saying that's going on? So all of it's bubbling to the surface, and there's a reason why. Time. Their time is 29 December 2029. Now, if you think about time,
what do you mean by that?
Well,
that's their stop.
That's back channel. That's the Nino's Corner website stuff.
Okay.
But how do I put this? This is let's just look at it this way. You have until the end of this year to get this started, get this going, get it over with.
I've heard that
as far as the beginning of the beginning.
Okay, I've heard that as well.
Okay, you can't let it go beyond 31 December because then you have one less year. Look, it's been 7 months for this administration. And when you understand the monolith they're going up against that have been battling for years, many, many years, this is not a cut and dried overnight thing. Virtually everything you're seeing out there right now is designed for your diffusion of thought, misdirection. Argue about this, girl in the jeans on the commercial. tits and ass, blue jeans, very few words said, typical Madison Avenue. And then what do? Somebody says good genes, and they tie it to eugenics.
Right.
Give me a break.
Right.
All right. This is,
they call
and
that.
it's not only that.
Though, people will argue with you and say that they call that dog whistles being blown, though.
Exactly. And then you have much bigger. You have sirens out there that have been wailing for years to keep you off. And some of it is from the good side, and most of it's from the bad side, to keep you off the track, say, of what really would happen with the financial system in the future.
Do you believe
the public's not going to know that? So they're going to be, they put out things like QFS and all of these, 𝗬𝗶𝗱𝗶𝗹 type.
Alex, can you show some of the EBS schedules that Ghost, you sent this to me? So what exactly are they prepping the public for here? Is this they're not testing this year? Is that correct? But they're making some big overhaul on the EBS.
I'm sure they're making sure it's intact. So that's your usual, what you'll see pop up on the TV screens. EBS, EAS, same systems in essence. FCC, NOAA, FEMA.
Will this system be used when an event happens? Is this why they're doing it, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sure, it would be used. So
how big of an event are we looking at?
Let's put it this way. If it happens, it's going to be rather shocking and bad.
Is it going to be bigger than
9/11 was? I definitely think so. And I'm not talking about a particular event. I'm talking about a combination of so many events. And remember who warned the world about the faked alien invasion? Wernher von Braun. Now, he didn't do it directly. He told Dr. Carol Sue Rosen. And I know her personally, wonderful woman. Love her to death. And she's just an amazing lady. She tried warning the world for over 40 years. Nobody listened. That this would be the final card. And it was, in my mind, it was touch and go over the years. Are they going to do it? Are they not? Are they going to do it? Are they not? Well, there's been tests for it. These sounds people have been hearing that come out of nowhere. Nobody has an explanation for. I saw recently in South America. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Yellowstone Park. There's people saying there's rumbling underground. There's the whales are getting silent off the coast of California. Sharks are washing up on Florida. A lot of the 8.8 earthquake that hit Russia's coastline, and then tsunamis. There was no P wave. So to me, it tells me this is all artificial.
Yeah.
The same technology used for the fires in Palisades. We got to be real careful here on FluffTube. So let's not go into to the real intel. But I'm just saying, right? I mean, this is where it's headed. This is what's coming. Well, they're preparing for this.
Yeah, look at the earthquakes, for example. 2 weeks ago or so, there was a spate of them. And the deepest one I saw was several hundred kilometers. But the vast majority of them, they line them out at 10 kilometers. All right. All weapon systems have their limitations. So we'll leave it there. But you see what I'm saying. And
right, and Gene, I've had Gene Decode on a few times to talk about how they are what he states allegedly that this is really wars going on underground, and this is what really blows people's minds, and they don't want to accept that there are actual wars happening in these tunneling systems, correct?
Yeah, there are. All right. A number of years ago, a friend of mine who owns a pretty decent sized, let's say, executive protection and private intelligence and protection company, and also contractors for anything from the Middle East, wherever, that kind of deal. He called me and it said, basically it was, I got a quick no bid for 50, 54, 56 tier 1 operators to go to Antarctica, and I don't have much more than that. And I said, well, what's the stated purpose on the contract? And he said it was to guard electricians. Well, if you know, these various, let's say, scientific installations down there and all different, they're spread out. It's a large area, very large area, as people know, and they're rather spread out. Who are you defending against? Who's gonna mount, even in the best of conditions, an Arctic assault? So look at it in those terms. I don't want to go into anything further with that, but
right, and you know, and what we're seeing now, like, that's boiling over on the surface level, at least. Let's talk about that for a second. With the Democrats and the Republicans, the deep state, you know, white hats, black hats, whatever you want to call it. This is a real war being waged, and it's, you know, it's a lot of people cannot accept the fact that, do you believe that Trump is getting ready? This is the best way I can phrase this. Do you believe Trump is setting his ducks in order, his chess pieces on the board properly to get ready for what's coming? Like, this is all just cover, like the assault on this poor kid that got beat by these youths. It was a problem, reaction, solution. So Trump could bring in the feds on the streets and prepare for something much bigger that's coming.
Yeah, you don't bring in that kind of artillery when someone gets beat up, no matter who they are. The police, like you said, should be able to handle that. So there's obviously secondary concerns here that are not going to, no one's going to put on the, no one's going to put on Fox News or anything like that. So,
so what we're doing here,
yeah,
folks,
the math is easier to do these days. Let's put it that way.
So, folks, what you're getting here is, like, we're reading in between the line, but on @Nino'sCorner.tv, we're going to go much deeper into this. So that you promise that, right? Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So now that we're here, and now that this is transpiring, how long do you think we have? Do you think this all starts happening around the time of the arrest? A lot of people are still in doubt that there's going to be an arrest. Do you believe there's going to be arrest, Ghost?
Well, let's say the supranational money changers, they're going to give up. Sure, they're going to give up the sacrificial lamb when they're pressed to the corner and can't do anything about it. I don't know. I might place a bet in Vegas. Place a bet in Vegas, rather, on it being Hussein.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be him, and there's other things that lead me to that conclusion.
Well, Juanito believes it'll be the lady, and I don't even want to say her name on here, but the witch.
And I'd say it's 50-50. Yeah. Yeah.
But they
because
are.
Sure, she definitely needs to have a spanking.
Well, you know, what people don't understand is this is why Trump is preparing, bringing in the artillery to Washington, D.C. They need to understand that he's getting ready for the arrest, and when that happens, he needs to have all his ducks in a row. He needs to have the military setting the perimeters. Correct, Ghost?
Yes, and we'll go more into that on the back channel.
Right.
I mean, on
.tv.
@Nino'sCorner.tv.
So,
but
yeah,
that's
all the moves kind of cultivate into this one window of time. Could it be this? You know, I've had people like Daniel Brinkley, Juanito, a lot of people come on and talk about this year is going to be, especially going into fall. This is when the shit could hit the fan, and this is when they know that they're doomed and they're going to be arrested, that they come in with all their moves. All the cards are going to be played almost at once.
Yeah, and we'll go into that on .tv also in more detail. But the reason, I mean, the reasons why, what various things are at work. But yeah, again, it comes down to time, because what is on the other end of that time? Let's put it this way: the average person really doesn't want to hear about it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I don't give it. Well, I'm not gonna curse on FluffTube, but and that we're approaching rapidly. We're approaching rapidly.
Do you feel
And
that, something like the Golden Gate Bridge or like the symbology of America could be targeted? The Statue of Liberty. There's
absolutely false flag, or set up the typical ones. Those are always listed as targets of opportunity for the wackadoodles. I mean, for the very, let's say, the terrorists that are set in that direction, that type. Those are always on the list. However, now is a different time. So you may have something like that.
Could they hit the Golden Gate Bridge area with an earthquake that was as powerful as the 8.8 in Russia, and basically they'll blame that that's how they would take it down, or are they going to use other methods? Because I think they will use the earthquake type of technology to bring down the Golden Gate, and we'll get into more of that on .tv. But I would imagine that's what they're going to try to do, right? I mean, that's how they would accomplish that.
Well, I don't know if it would have to be probably even stronger to bring that down. Remember, back when that was built, look at the state it's in now. It's still doing its job, and it was built when, in the 30s, and they over-engineered in those days for something like that. So that bridge is designed to handle what they feel the worst could be tectonically. Whether it would stand up, you'd have to talk to an engineer, a structural engineer for that, a bridge specialist. But it's a possibility. I tend to think they would use probably some of the, let's say, insurgents that have crossed the border over the last 4 years prior. That would be more of a practical thing, because you can't necessarily engineer a quake that strong.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, well, there's certain personalities on X, and Trader Girl's one of them that, the Grateful Dead. I mean, they do things out in the open. They hide things in the open as rituals or ceremonies, and people don't understand this. This is real stuff with the occult, like the Grateful Dead playing at the Golden Gate Bridge Park. As crazy as that sounds, there's symbology there, right? Ghost. I mean, they use stuff like
Grateful Dead.
Yeah, exactly, and
they want to make it bad enough. They want to make, ultimately, all of the events that will coalesce, they want to make it so that people will feel better off dead. It can get that serious. That's why I've always pushed preparedness for your home, for your family, for yourself if you're alone.
There's no coincidence that this EAS, there's a huge overhaul with it right now, correct, Ghost? There's no coincidence in that.
No, make sure everything's in place, because that'll work. If the internet goes down, even the ability to make calls go down, with the exception of 911 in that system, that will work. That will work. Your phone will still receive that, because you'd be receiving either local or presidential information. So that will work. And this is why, if anybody's talking about it, or they're possibly doing a test, my I have an upcoming surgery. My mind has been on a few things specifically, and I haven't heard anything about that. But that's not to say they might not pull it out at the a test at the last minute. I don't know. For EBS and EAS, EBS is more of a localized thing, but it's parallel and tied into EAS, which actually is a global system now.
Someone put on here Starlink is the best bet. I got Starlink. You told me actually, Ghost, years and years ago to get Starlink before anyone even knew about it.
It was in beta, and
you told me about 5 years ago to get Starlink.
Yeah, because that's when it was in beta. That's when I acquired it, and you had to wait. I don't think it was about 2 months. I waited. Some people waited 6-8 months to get it, but it was in beta then. But now it's pretty much fully operational.
So, Ghost, here's another article. FBI director approved request to help locate runaway Texas Democrats. So, John Cornyn says FBI Director Kash Patel has approved his request to help state and local law enforcement locate Texas Democrats who have fled the Lone Star State in hopes of stalling partisan redistricting effort. I'm proud to announce that Director Kash Patel has approved my request for the FBI to assist state and local law enforcement in locating runaway Texas House Democrats. Are we going to start seeing arrests with them? I mean, do they get arrested for this?
That could probably be arrest light, the beginning, kind of build up to it. But
arrest light.
Yeah. Instead of the hard stuff, having a beer right now. And them doing what they did gave the governor and the legislative body itself.
Hold on, Ghost. Someone says, why does Nino read left-wing articles? Because I gotta dissect what they're feeding the masses, what they're giving the cattle to what they call useless grazers. I got to give you all what they're giving you, and then that's why I give my sarcastic spin to everything. All right, go ahead, Ghost.
Well, they're entitled to their opinion, but these people did make these choices. Obviously, you see, on that pyramid of the opposition, they're going to be at a state legislator is not a very high level. But many of them are compromised in one way or another. It's either something they did that they think is horrible and they're approached and, you're going to do this and you're going to do this or else.
The walls are closing in on them. FBI ousts former acting director agent involved in J6 prosecutions, with more expected to come. The FBI on Thursday is ousting at least 3 officials, including the former acting director and officer involved in investigations, Fox News has learned. Former FBI director, acting director Brian Driscoll is among those being forced out of the bureau. Sources familiar in the matter told, so they're cleaning out the rats, right? Ghost, you there?
I froze up for a little. Starlink.
So I mean, they're cleaning out the rats, right?
Let's go into that a little deeper. Why are they going after the cartel so hard? There's many reasons. Over 100,000 to 200,000 deaths a year on fentanyl. I know someone who just died of it the day after another person who died of natural causes died of it last month. And it was a surprise that this person could be so stupid. I'll leave that alone. But understand, those cartels have paid off. Why do you think they are in every square mile of this country? If someone in your neighborhood or someone or your son or daughter or your whoever it might be has died of fentanyl or had an episode with fentanyl, you have cartel activity there. How the hell did it get that big? You don't think top FBI officials took 15, 20, 25, $30 million bribes? They sure as hell did. Now they're not going to tell that to you because they don't want to be. Well, we'll leave it there. But you get the idea.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yes.
Yeah, we don't really
Yeah.
know. Wink, wink.
In my humble opinion.
Right.
Not, but excuse me. I have a Zen and kind of burnt my throat there. But
Ghost, would you be willing to take some super chat questions?
Sure.
All right. Steve Bannon is secretly plotting a sensational run for president in 2028, and he's already knifing his likely rival. I created him. Steve Bannon is the early stages of planning his audacious run for president in 2028. Well-placed sources have told this Daily Mail. The campaign would divide the American Great Again movement Bannon helped build by setting up a battle with Vice President J.D. Vance, who is all but certain to launch his own 2028 candidacy, potentially with Donald Trump's blessing. A Bannon-Vance primary would trigger an explosive civil war within Trump's populist movement, pitting its original architect against its institutional inheritor. Sources close to Steve Bannon and Trump have told Daily Mail the 71-year-old war room host has begun soliciting political advice, but Bannon fires back and says unnamed anonymous sources have told Britain's Daily Mail newspaper that Stephen Bannon is in the preliminary phases of planning a presidential run for the 2028 election. The news appears designed to create a significant rift within the Make America Great movement, which Bannon was instrumental in building. Speaking exclusively to the National Post on Thursday after the publication of the Mail's thinly sourced story, Bannon remarked, "Trump 2028. Let me say that again. Bannon he announced, Trump 2028. Now, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that means. Bold and in your face, folks. So a lot of people still sweep this under the rug like, that's just crazy. But crazy is what's real right now, folks. The people that are first right now, like Nino's Corner.tv, people like the Ghost, Juanito, so many different guests that I've had on is, crazy comes true. Right, Ghost?
Yeah, crazy's not so crazy all the time. And you have to be able to decipher that. So, again, look at the source, Daily Mail. Where's that out of? Who do you think pulls their strings? Yeah. Let them. Yeah, it's easy to look up.
That's the civil war I'm talking about right there. The internal war is being fought right now, and it's being fought in media.
Yeah, and again, you have to look at who someone is, let's say, associated with quietly, and who he is associated. I'm not talking about the president. I'm talking about Bannon. Or this could simply be for effect. And I don't mean for effect as in military terms. I mean for effect in, again, diverting thinking. So that one I would weigh carefully. I would weigh that one very carefully.
Okay, Alex, let's take some super chats right now for the Ghost and myself. Lucia Robertson, thank you so much for the super sticker. Cindy Shipley, Nino, you are so appreciated and loved. Thank you so much for that. I need that today. And love, thank you for your diligence to this fight. Have you tried giving methylene blue to your mom? I tried, and the doctors got on me about it because they said that there could be a serotonin type of dump or something like that can mess her up. I've been giving her the C60, and I'm just trying whatever. I'm desperate right now, folks. It's like I'm not going to bring my mother back to when she was 65, 60. I'm kind of realistic where I'm at with her. It's very hard to watch your parents decline with dementia. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And it's rough. Thank you. Next question. Michelle Christian, super sticker. Thank you so much, Michelle. 𝗀𝗂𝗃𝗏𝗀, super sticker. Thank you so much. Susan Diane, are you ever going to see McAfee's 31 TB data? Are we, Ghost?
I'm sure it'll be utilized where and when needed.
I mean, you believe you believe quite a few people are alive, correct? You can say that, right?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah.
Several are alive.
Including the island guy.
Yes, I believe he's alive. Yeah. And again, if two forces are going to get up against each other, the last thing they do is show their cards to the public. Oh, well, this is what we're going to do. No, you'll get the very top layer from the Pentagon spokesman on whatever bullshit they're going to pull off next. You know, when you had the oil wars and endless nonsense going on, but you're going to find out that certain people were not who they pretended to be. Bad might have been good. Good might have been bad.
So
And I'm not going to go into names right here. We'll do that later if you. Yeah, but understand that is always, the public really doesn't know the nature of this war and what's really going on at levels that there is no access to for that.
James Bonet writes, can you and Nino do a show on changing your citizenship or about Proclamation 2039 and 2040, the national emergency that we're all still in today?
Changing your citizenship in what way? Not becoming no longer a U.S. citizen, but still an American? Yeah, you can do that, but there is a process to go through, and no one out there has it right. No one. I've been fortunate enough to have access to information that, yes, how you properly do it, but it's the knowledge base you have to possess. Understand that law has been kept in place. It from, let's say, the intention of justice to maintaining a system. You have to understand how that system really, really works. There is no one out there in any of these movements who fully has that down. So I would be very careful with what you do and whose information you're going by, unless you've had access to people at very high levels who feel the system is a fraud, which it is. The global financial and political systems are all fraudulent, and the court system, the administrative commercial court system, it's all fraudulent. If you don't understand the fraud, you will get burned.
Look at this, Ghost. It says Stephen Miller reveals Democrats got 20 to 30 House seats from counting illegals in the census. 20 to 30 of House Democrats wouldn't exist but for illegal immigrants. But President Trump's starting a new census now with no illegals. Let's not forget Democrats. Okay, I can go into that, but they sued Donald Trump to include illegal immigrants in the census. So now what's happening? They're starting a new census that will exclude illegal immigrants. Do you understand how devastating this will be for blue states? It will destroy them before the midterms. And what have I always said, folks? The Democratic Party will cease to exist by 2028. They're dismantling the entire party, and not just with arrests, but things like this, a new census. Am I right in saying that, Ghost?
Yes. You need a new census. And as the let's say the deportation process of those who do not belong here continues, that has to progress a little further. But there has to be a way of differentiating who is a legitimate voter in the current system and who isn't. Because you still have to work within this system. So that has to be done. A census is a brilliant idea. It needs to be done. And for that reason alone, because we have to get rid of, again, the system of voting, the electronic systems, that's all been gone through. You know, it's all been gone through before. That has to be nullified, but the districting has to be correct. And gerrymandering has always been a big thing in American politics for the last century. It's been out of your hands, out of our hands as Americans. And it's got to be put back fairly and justly. You see a lot of redistricting right before an election.
Yeah.
That kind of thing has to end.
Right.
Now, that can only happen, again, in a, let's say, constructive fraudulent system.
All right, let's get to the next super chat. Oh, if Iran was involved in the, you know what, does this explain the pallet of cash? Has it been linked to, well, yeah, look no further than that man himself, you know, right? I mean, well, there you go. Trump put that out on Truth Social. There it is right there, folks. That's all you need to know, and that's as far as I can go on it, go on this on FluffTube.
Yeah.
But let's get to the next question. Thoughts on the RealID mandatory in Florida? What's your thoughts on the RealID, Ghost?
Well, the RealID is nothing more than confirming who you are. I mean, I didn't have a license for about 10 years, but I never got pulled over. And when I did, it wasn't an issue. But that's different. Then I went and got one, and there was a little gold star on it. Okay, that's fine. I provided a passport and other identification for it. Had to take the test over like I was 17 years old. That was ridiculous. And that simply is an easier way of assuring identity and background too. So I don't see a real problem with that. In the future, I expect that to even change, but not to be, let's say, more more of an invasion into one's privacy. You know,
well, a lot of people will say, well,
after certain things are said and done, privacy.
You know, like with this, I mean, everything kind of looks like it's going towards this B system. I mean, a lot of people are going to say that the chip.
That's what the opposition wants,
right? So that's important to say right now, because that's truly the fight in all this. This is a spiritual war, and this is truly the fight. He who controls the money system controls everything. That's really what this is. That's what we're coming to. That's why these events must happen. What we're talking about. That's why they want to use this panic card, because they cannot lose control of the money system.
And that goes even higher. We'll go into that on .tv.
All right, let's get to the next question. Try out keto or carnivore diet. This helps a lot of people with dementia and mental cognitive decline. Thank you so much. I will, if I can get her to eat, that's where we're at. That's the stage we're at right now. Next question, please. Thank you so much. Methylene blue is conjunction with mood stabilizing drugs causes serotonin dump. Without them, it is safe and effective. Love you, Ghost. Is MacAfee in Valhalla? Next question.
Again, where did he die? Remember that.
Yeah. Let's get to the next question.
What country?
Does Ghost think Trump is really trying to drain the political swamp, or are we the swamp? I just have mixed emotions listening to all these different people. I don't know.
We'll go into that. That's one of the primary things I want to go into on .tv.
Okay.
You have to understand, and we'll go into the complexity of both of what this battle is about. And I want to plow right up the middle in a diesel snowplow with that.
Let's get to the next question. All right. So here's another, what I feel is very important. Blue whales mysteriously going silent off the coast of California, alarming scientists and sounding an alarm. The sound of the blue whale singing has decreased off the coast of California, frightening scientists who believe is an indication of a greater ecosystem danger. Science tracked the auditory songs of three white whale species, blue, fin, and humpback, in the North Pacific Ocean in California current ecosystem over 6 years. The research using a hydrophone on the ocean floor analyzed the frequency of the structure sequences of sounds commonly referred to as a song emitted by the large blue whales to define the prevalence in this foraging habitat and its potential use of behavioral ecology research. The study, published in Public Library of Science in February, found a decrease in sound detection for both blue and fin whales across 2-3 interannual changes after 2017, and is continuing to increase. So the ocean's almost silent right now with blue whales. Do you think, Ghost, in your mind, this means, are they testing out equipment down there? Could we be getting ready for the big one, another earthquake? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, if it's over 6 years, I'm sure marine biologists are going to be looking at a pathogen, because the thing, and here's why I say this: in Africa, about 100 back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when they were building that one railway, and those lions were attacking humans. There were a number of reasons why they were doing that. First of all, these two brother lions had bad
the Ghost
canines. Man, yeah, exactly. That film's based on that. But there was a pathogen that killed off 90% of the Cape buffalo.
Wow.
That was a natural occurrence. So those lions either had to migrate to another territory, but they were outcasts, so they and they had very bad canines genetically. So they bad genes. Am I lion eugenicist now? No, they had just bad teeth, and found in those teeth were human hairs as well as other animals. That's why they were attacking people. They did not even keep track of the 100 Africans that died. They kept track of how many of the Indians from India they brought in to work on, which was 38, 37, 38, something like that. But in total, about 137, 38 died over the course of that time. So is it a marine pathogen? Is it a condition of food? Is it a pathogen with the food, their food source? I'm not a marine biologist. I can't answer that. Does testing affect them? Of certain types of devices, yes. And they just kind of move away for a while, but they come back. So what that could be, I don't know. If it's over a 6-year period. If it were immediate, then your mind might go to something like possibly a tectonic event, undersea volcano. Who knows? You know, I don't know how to answer that.
All right,
I'm not qualified.
Article here. Trump's top U.S. intelligence chief says she believes, 𝗀𝗨cy 𝗵𝗶𝗹 believes in aliens and vows to share the truth on UFOs. The U.S. intelligence chief has vowed to share the truth on UFOs after saying she believes in aliens and that extraterrestrials are real. 𝗀𝗨cy 𝗵𝗶𝗹, the director of national intelligence in Donald Trump's administration, hinted that she has a lot of classified information on aliens, but is forced to remain tight-lipped due to her job.
Right now, in the skies, they're all over, but you don't see them. And actually, a good percentage of them are ours. Not a majority percentage, but a good percentage. And yes, they're not all bad. Now, what in this little charade of this, Independence Day type scenario they're playing out, and I hope people don't fall for it. I hope everybody gives them the middle finger when this thing appears and they, roll out some kind of huge tarp in orbit, say several hundred miles out, that's so big and reflects the sunlight that everybody can see it. That's the mothership. And then they do stuff terrestrially with their equipment,
Holograms.
because holograms and even Tic Tacs, they're not. That's our stuff. The other stuff, the let's say the amber ones that appear in threes, no, that's not ours. That's been appearing for centuries. Recorded history bears that out without disagreement. So in this process,
we are living in
people are going to learn a lot about consciousness and the nature of reality. That'll be the lanyard, and at the end of all this nonsense, which may go on for a while once it begins. So I'll leave it there on this fluff tube.
Well, I can just picture the New Age movement is going to kick into high gear once aliens start appearing in the sky. They're going to that's going to be the new religion.
Yeah.
That's going to be the new religion.
And you know, it's a complicated subject when you really delve into it. It truly is much more than you're going to see on television shows. A lot of good points are made, but it's more complicated than that.
But Ghost, I mean, there was a reason Ancient Aliens premiered for over what, a decade, maybe even longer than that. That was all conditioning. That was all conditioning, getting ready, getting this society, getting the public ready for such a time as now.
Well, I would say legitimate contact, yes. What they're doing right now with this oncoming ship, that's no.
Right.
No, that's the final car.
I mean, and
right.
it's
there is a difference.
It's aligning right with when everything is supposed to take place with the takedown.
Exactly.
So let's get to what the fuck news real quick. Our local news has been 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗁. Our local news has been telling the citizens of an EBS test next Wednesday, the 13th of August in Oregon. Interesting.
In Oregon. But again, those tests go on across the country every week in certain areas, every month usually. But there is a weekly test, and it's usually when you're not awake. It's at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3:30. I see them all the time where I live, and that's part of the EBS system. If there were tornadoes, a rash of that, you see that comes on your phone. It comes on your television. If you have a hurricane that's bearing down, and they're going to leave tornadoes and tornadic activity. Yes, your phone and TV will light up with that. So will your weather radio. And that's, I sent you that one site that does have all. It's a global site for
people
that.
Should have on hand a ham radio, right?
I would say that at least a capability to receive. You don't have to get into ham radio. People sometimes are daunted by that. It's a fun hobby. I'm into it. But if you get a good ham receiver with broad range UHF, VHF reception, and even single sideband reception, I would definitely get that, because you can hook an antenna to, even if it fits in the palm of your hand, you can hook it to a larger wire antenna and pick up broadcasts from all over the world. So, and other ham operators in certain frequency ranges. So, yeah, it's a great thing to have. I personally like, there's Sanguine and I like 𝗓𝗏. They make 𝗓𝗏 makes good quality receivers. So if you're going to buy one, go to 𝗓𝗏 or a Sanguine or Kenwood. Those three.
So Ghost, we're going to podcast today. Oh, here's another one. My son is getting ready to join the Coast Guard. Should I be worried? I don't think so, right?
No, I wouldn't be worried.
All
no,
right.
The Coast Guard, he's probably going to be busy. He or she's probably, well, his son, he's going to be busy with the drug interdiction until that's cleared up.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, you're right. Dream for peace. Appreciate you. I was like, wait, is this a different language? Appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Dream for peace.
Appreciate you all too.
Yes.
Deeply.
Is there another one? Alex, is there another? I just saw another. That's it? Okay. Ghost, you want to stick around for what the fuck news?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So let me see that one again, Alex. Okay, you can give exogenous ketones like 𝗀𝘂𝗍𝗂 and liquid and heal the brain. Really? Highly recommended. YouTube, 𝗬𝗏𝗡 𝗀𝘂𝗍𝗂𝗁. Can you give me that later, Alex? Okay. All right, let's get to some what the fuck news. And Ghost, I'll see you today on 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗏𝗏TV, right?
You got it.
All right, let's dive deep into this. What the fuck news? New Yorkers latching on to new breast milk flavored ice cream in Brooklyn. Isn't it all ice cream breast milk, folks? A Dumbo sweet shop is taking ice cream to the next level. Fans, into a bosom this summer by offered a limited edition special flavor that tastes exactly like human breast milk. What about testicle milk?
Oh,
just kidding. I hope they don't start that.
Nino, think of this: the first person that dies because some crackhead has fentanyl in her breast milk. Oh my God, testicle milk.
Well, I mean, milk is breast milk, right? I mean, that's what all milk is. The boob-based
I'm sure you
been pumping up
cream
sales.
and butter.
Yeah. At Brooklyn's Oddfellows, as a dedicated crowd of New Yorkers have latched onto the idea of sweet treat based on mom's own recipe. I was breastfed by my mother from 1974 to about 1978, but I certainly don't remember that. So I still emotionally, mentally surprised me, said Charlotte Reinsha of Mammoth Lake, California, who stumbled into the shop on her way to catch the Rockaway Beach-bound ferry. Curiosity was the main motivation for crowds flocking to the Water Street shop, which was covered in booby decals, as workers slung the bizarre orange-hued scoops for free as part of a limited collaboration with Frida, a product company for new parents. I don't know. This is taking hold in New York. It's catching fire. The breast milk ice cream has all the typical ingredients of the dessert, including heavy cream, egg yolks, and sugar, but isn't actually made with human breast milk. Instead, it includes 𝗬𝗏𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗏 bovine colostrum, a dietary supplement found in breast milk. Okay. So they're just including the supplement here, bovine colostrum, whatever that is. I take that. Just 50 free cups advertised to taste like mom used to make. Oh, boy. What's next? Testicle milk? Yuck. All right, folks. Ghost, I really appreciate you coming on. Let's get to 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗏𝗏TV. What time we doing the podcast later today, right?
Yeah, whatever time.
Okay, so I'll have it up.
I'm just convalescing. So
all right, I'll have it up tonight, folks. Ghost, would you come on as a general in the general's tent again as well?
Yeah, sure. As long as it doesn't conflict
we'll do September. I got 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗁𝗃𝗃.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah.
All right, folks, and I'll tell you everything that the Ghost and I have discussed privately on Ringside with Nino. All right, folks, I'll see you at 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗏𝗏TV. I'll be podcasting with the Ghost right now. All right, folks, and the new heavyweight champion of podcasting and the Black Sheep of broadcasting.